Hello， 大家好，阿巴嘎巴，我是大马千叶姐。今天我们邀请到一位非常重量级的嘉宾，这位就是来自马来西亚数码经济局的负责人 Mr. Raymond。Hi, Mr. Raymond, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. 大家好。
Mr. Raymond 呢是马来西亚数码经济局的负责人。今天呢，我们会跟他聊一下关于中国的企业如何要进入马来西亚，特别是这个数码相关的行业，所以大家一定要注意收听。那接下来呢，我们就会跟 Mr. Raymond 呢讨论一些具体的问题。那第一个呢，我非常希望能够 Mr. Raymond 跟我们大家介绍一下这个 MDEC 就是马来西亚的数码经济局到底是什么样的一个组织。
Thank you for having me here. I'm very happy to be here to talk about the digital economy in Malaysia. MDEC is the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation. We have been set up 28 years ago. To look at the digital economy in Malaysia and to drive the growth of the digital economy. So what we look at is to support our local ecosystem to grow, as well as to bring foreign investments into Malaysia and maybe to even partner our local companies so that we can push the standards up together. So in 1980s, we were very strong in commodities, also in manufacturing and oil and gas. But we cannot rely on the traditional industries. So 1996, the government decided we have to move into a new industry, and that was the ICT, Information Communication Technology industry. It was very new. At that time, the internet was just introduced to the world. The word startup did not exist. So Malaysia at that point of time was the original startup. MDEC was established to drive an initiative called the Multimedia Super Corridor, which is the MSC. That really was a game changer. It changed the way our industries were looking at running their business. Now we fast forward 28 years later, digital is the economy. There is no choice. Every company has to be a digital company. Every country has to be a digital company. So what we like to do is also to work with the agriculture sector, to work with the manufacturing sector, to digitalize them as well. Because that's when you're going to get higher productivity. With e-commerce, you can export quite easily. You can get new buyers to come in. There are many benefits of digital. So before it was the Ministry of Communications and Digital. Last year in December, the Prime Minister announced that it will separate. So the Ministry of Digital is new, about 10 months old, but we are the first country to have a Ministry of Digital and a Minister of Digital in the ASEAN countries. It shows that the country and the Prime Minister is very serious about growing the digital economy and understands that there must be 100% focus on developing the digital economy. So we hope many new improvements you will see soon. It's only been 10 months. A lot of work is being done by my minister with the other ministers and Prime Minister. And we really, you will see some announcements and some changes. There's been many already. If you look at the data centers, for example, if you look at the announcement on AI, for example, cyber security, there's been many a lot of work, many announcements being done. So you can actually see the results.
那 Mr. Raymond， 我想问你关于第二个问题，就是大家知道在疫情的时候啊，马来西亚的像这个什么快餐外卖呀，什么快递呀，这些服务都发展的非常的迅速。我很想知道这是怎么回事的，因为之前大家知道，可能我在马来西亚12年吧，就是觉得好像像送外卖呀，或者是快递都比较慢一点，反而是疫情的时候加快了这个速度。您对此有什么一些想法跟意见呢？
So it was very interesting. Malaysia already had a very strong digital infrastructure in the sense that we have 4G coverage, 4G plus coverage. So, and also we're building out our 5G coverage right now. But e-commerce really went up through the roof during the COVID time because when there was a lockdown, people could not go out. But Malaysia was good in the sense that everybody had connectivity, right? Everybody had a smart device.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a study done on smartphone penetration in Malaysia. It was about 110% back then. So almost everybody had a smart device or 2 or 3 devices. So when we had the lockdown, we had no choice. We have to go online. So number one, our infrastructure was good. So connectivity, no problem. In terms of devices, they have 3 or 4 devices in the house. So the mother, the father, the brother, the sister
ready.
can share
Yes.
inside, right? It started going very fast. From the government side, we classified the delivery service and ride-hailing as an essential service, so they could operate. We give them license, be very clear that they need to have a mask, they need to wash their hands, you know, all the safety requirements they must follow. But we allowed them to operate because the shops were closed, right? So you have no choice. So that helped us, and because infrastructure was there, everybody could go online. We also then give a lot of incentives the following year to buy your laptop for your children, to get discounts to buy phones. We brought down the cost of data. So all of this, I think the perception was, we have no choice, we must go online. And then we got our fintech, our payment systems. It's also very, very good. The ecosystem is very strong. So when you go online and you want to make payments, you want to do purchasing, we have a very strong fintech. So that shows you that we have moved very quickly. In 3 years, I think, now 36 months, we have moved very fast. So it's quite easy to do online business, online shopping. And then you've got the warehouse, you've got the fulfillment. So the whole ecosystem is very mature now.
那我也很想知道 ，Mr. Raymond， 我们马来西亚这个现在数码部有没有对未来的马来西亚的5到10年有一个这样的一个计划呢？
So we have got very good plans. In like I told you, in 1996 we launched a multimedia super corridor, a game changer. In 2022 we launched the Malaysia Digital Blueprint for the first time after a long time. It's a clear plan, 5-year plan, what Malaysia should do to become a digital nation, right? So the My Digital Blueprint was launched, like I said, in 2022. Clear KPIs, what the country needs to do. We also recently launched the new Industrial Master Plan, and the second pillar focuses on digital, how to upskill, how to push up the country in the digital economy. These are very two important documents that will come together to define how we can move forward. So the trajectory moving forward under our ministry is a new ministry. We will focus on 3 things. The first thing is on the digital infrastructure.
Digital infrastructure.
So infrastructure. And this will be looking at AI infrastructure, cybersecurity infrastructure. You know, we're looking at data centers, AI data centers, submarine cables. We have to look at dark fiber connectivity in the country. These are very important digital infrastructure for the country to be very strong. Then number 2, we're looking at C, which is cyber security. So we build the infrastructure, we must have cyber security for the infrastructure, right? Cannot have hacking, you know, breaches and so on. The last one is T, so ICT.
Technology?
Talent.
Talent.
If we don't have the right people to take advantage of the infrastructure and to protect our infrastructure and system, then, like you said just now, there's not enough jobs, there won't be enough talent. So we need the right talent, we need to train the talent, right? To be very successful. If we look at it, I think AI is going to drive all countries forward. So we have to look at the digital infrastructure, AI digital infrastructure, which explains what I've said. We have to ensure, that's why the country will be launching or announcing the National AI Office. As another initiative, an office under our ministry to drive the AI agenda next month. We've got, you know, very importantly, the Cybersecurity Act that was announced, and there's going to be another act, the Data Sharing Act, Data Governance Bill. You know, we have to look at certain things like this to come up very, very soon. So that will look at the infrastructure and cybersecurity or the data governance and data security needs for the country. Once you have that, then again, I think the right kind of talent for the right industries we want to build. So definitely Gen AI industry, right? We need to build out Malaysia as a hub for Gen AI. We need to look at Malaysia as the hub for Web3, blockchain, game technology. And then to look even further ahead, we must look at next generation technology, like quantum computing and so on. So there's a clear plan on what we need to do to move ahead.
现在政府非常鼓励数码经济，那您跟我们大家分享一下，就是如果我们这些中国的企业要来马来西亚的话，咱们马来西亚的政府会鼓励哪些企业或者哪些行业来马来西亚投资呢？
This is a very interesting question. Post-COVID, when digital moved really very fast, obviously we were looking to see which industries we need to focus on, because the world has changed so much and will continue to change. Digital is horizontal. It's not a vertical, right? It cuts this way. Whether you're in manufacturing, agriculture, automotive, digital is everywhere.
Yes.
So we look at a different view. China is very strong at the technology and how fast they adapt to technology. We are looking at key areas like the digital infrastructure, data centers, AI hubs, AI park. We're encouraging the companies from China to look and bring the technology, work with local partners. Number two, I think a key area that I think China can work together with us is smart automation of manufacturing and agriculture. I was in Xiamen, I visited Beijing, I visited a few other places. The technology that China already has around manufacturing, around agriculture, like I said, is fantastic. So I think these are some of the key areas that we can invite companies in China to come in. The third area, of course, is on e-commerce. Things like online shopping, influencer shopping. China is very, very big at that. And there is a whole ecosystem around warehousing, influencer, digital marketing that I think we can also learn how the Chinese market is done. This year will be the 50th year anniversary of Malaysia-China diplomatic relationship. You know, Malaysia was one of the first countries to recognize China all those years ago in 1971. So there's a lot of history, a lot of friendship and partnership. Number two, we have also signed the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership with China. So China has signed with ASEAN, ASEAN has signed with China, so Malaysia and China can use the RCEP to grow the trade. So there's a proper trade agreement for Chinese companies to come to Malaysia and for us to also trade with China. So it's very important that both sides understand we already have a trade framework. We've got very strong partnership, very good speakers in Mandarin, Cantonese, Honghua, whatever we call it. Similar cultural background. We should build on that.
那 Mr. Raymond， 现在我就要问一个大家非常关心的、很重要的一个问题，就是如果我们中国的企业来马来西亚投资啊，像您说的投资 AI 呀、投资数码经济啊，他们都可以过来投资。但是咱们政府对中国的企业来投资是什么样一个政策呢？比如说有哪些税收的政策啊，有哪些特别优惠的政策，可以跟我们大家解释一下、说明一下吗？
Incentives are always very important. So we have very good incentives under MDEC. We have three sort of incentives. The first one that we have right now under Malaysia Digital Investment Incentive is the IP incentive and non-IP incentive. Any companies coming into Malaysia to set up their company, if they develop their IP, intellectual property, registered in Malaysia, then they can get 0% tax.
Zero
for 5 years and can extend for another 5 years.
就是
on the profit. On the profit. Related to the IP. So the revenue from the IP, you don't have to pay any tax if you develop the IP in Malaysia. If it's non-IP, then it's a reduced tax where you only have to pay maybe 5 or 10% depending on your investment into the country. So you can choose an IP tax, 0%, 5 plus 5 years, or non-IP tax, where you can get 5 to 10%, 5 to 10 years.
Oh, wow.
That's number one. Okay, so for services lah. Number two is the investment tax allowance. If you come here to set up a data center, if you come here to set up a global business service, capex costs, you're spending money. So we have an investment tax allowance on the approved activities. We can give back 60% tax against your qualifying expenditure.
60%都可以返还这个投入的一个资金成本。
Or even 100%.
100
depending on the conditions.
100%都可以返还。
Against your capex, your capital expenditure. Right? So we have two different ways of looking at it. Right? We also have other ways to incentivize. For example, there are grants, small grants that we encourage you to develop new IPs, to work with local companies, to develop new products and solutions for the region in Malaysia. In addition to that, we also have training grants, right? So we subsidize training cost. Say because AI, all of this is new, data analytics. So if you take the young graduates, we subsidize, the first month's training costs, and then the salary for 3 months, up to a certain amount. So these are very attractive incentive. Now you just heard that in Johor,
last week, data center.
Correct, and there's a place called Forest City.
Yes.
Yeah, so they have announced a Forest City special financial zone.
Yes.
Last week.
Yes.
So companies in fintech, maybe even Web3 payment systems and global business service, if you set up your company in Forest City, even more tax incentives are provided. If you locate your companies there and you hire locals there, you can enjoy even more tax incentives. So now is really the time, for companies all over China in the digital space to be looking at Malaysia.
咱们听到了吗？现在我们 Mr. Raymond 已经说了，现在是非常好的一个时机，投资马来西亚，带来马来西亚很多的技术在马来西亚都会给你非常多的一个优惠政策，相信这个时机是非常好的，大家一定要抓住这个时机。这里要跟大家补充一下，刚才 Mr. Raymond 呢又跟我透露了一下就是关于大家如果想要享受这些以上的这些优惠政策呢，其实门槛非常的低，只需要满足每年在马来西亚你付的这个员工的收入薪水或者是办公室这些投入的费用成本呢，每年只需要5万马币以上就可以了，只要5万马币以上的这个费用就可以享受马来西亚这些的优惠政策。那我们就再聊到最后一个非常重要的一个问题，就是 Miss Raven， 你给我们在镜头前的这些中国企业家们有没有一些建议？他们现在想要来马来西亚投资，您觉得他们应该需要做什么准备，或者有些什么一些建议呢
？So firstly, we welcome all Chinese entrepreneurs into Malaysia. And so let me share 3 things I think may be very important. The first thing is, Malaysia is a multicultural country, right? We said just now there is, a Malay population, Indian, Chinese, Borneo, many others. So the first thing to do is to understand the culture of doing business in Malaysia. I think that's very important.
Very, very.
The business will go on. It's very easy to do business in Malaysia, but I think you must understand the culture of doing business in Malaysia. If you're hoping to do business, I think I would suggest work with the associations. We have the Malaysia-China Business Council. We have the Malaysia-China Digital Council. We have the Chambers of Commerce. Culture is very important, right? How do you talk? How do you say hello? And Malaysia, we are very, very relationship based. We like to know you first. We like to have nasi lemak first. Talk to you first. Then it's easier to do the business. So that's number one, culture. Number two, I think it's very important to understand that don't listen to people. Listen to government agencies like us. So I hear last time, very hard to do business in Malaysia. We have to spend so much of money, so much of time, 500,000 to set up. Not all true. Come directly to the government agency. So for digital economy, MDEC. For non-digital economy is MIDA, Malaysia Investment Development Authority, which I call it MIDA. So you go to the right government people or go to your embassy to say you want to set up a business, right? So don't listen to people. Come to us direct and then we tell you what is the easiest way to set up. Because the problem sometimes I hear is, I don't know what kind of company, how much of money, who are the local directors, do I need to get office space or not, where to get an office space, open up bank account, KYC, you know, all these issues. Then people say, you're so tough. It's not, right? You must come to one place, then we can help you settle in Malaysia. Number 3, I think is very important as well. So you finish off firstly culture. Number 2, go to the right government agency to help you land. Number 3, always think of Malaysia as the gateway to ASEAN.
Yes.
We are 34 million people. ASEAN is almost 700 million people. And we speak all the languages.
Yes.
So the mindset must be, you come to Malaysia, you must think of jumping to ASEAN. Think big. Within 1, 2, 3 years, use Malaysia and go into ASEAN.
Yes, true.
That is the 3 advice I can give.
所以今天呢，我们非常感谢 Miss Raymond 跟我们大家介绍了关于我们的数码经济部，还有关于我们政策法规一些信息。那我们也是非常感谢 Miss Raymond。Miss Raymond，thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. 谢谢。
Thank you， 谢谢。那我们今天非常感谢 Miss Raymond 接受我们的访问。如果大家有任何问题，欢迎大家给我留言，也欢迎大家继续收看我其他的节目。那我们下次再见啦，拜拜。